we have this definition of a conscious agent. So it has experiences, and based on its experiences, it affects the experiences of other conscious agents.
So I stumbled across this video, and particularly the concept and the theory coming from Donald Hoffman about conscious agents. The way he describes conscious agents is another way, or philosophical or scientific way of describing in Hinduism known as Devas, or in Christianity, Judaism known as Cherubs. If you understand to the true extent about Devas, and if you, which many don't go so deep within Christianity or Judaism regarding cherubim or cherubs, what they're all describing here is conscious intelligence that is weaved within matter. So let's watch this.
And it turns out when you look at the mathematics tells you that if you take two conscious agents, then those two conscious agents also satisfy the definition of being a conscious agent. So there is one conscious agent. And so if I take 1,000,000 conscious agents, they're also one conscious agent. And if I take suppose I start with just
part of what he's describing is that all of reality is composed of these conscious agents that start off as and on a smaller scale, from the most minute to the microscopic to the larger scale to the macroscopic. And these conscious agents, these devas or cherubs, as they interact with other conscious agents, devas, cherubs, they form a larger and more complex unit. Into that unit extends out to the infinite, into one conscious agent, one consciousness, you see.
Number of conscious agents that's the same as the number of the integers, what we call a countable infinity. So agent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to infinity. So suppose I start with just that number of conscious agents. Well, now, okay, agents 1 and 2, they form an agent. Agents 1, 2, and 3 form an agent. 5 and 6 form an agent. In other words, any subset of them is an agent. We call that the set of all subsets is called the power set. So the power set turns out to be a bigger infinity. So the integers have what we call the lowest level of infinity, what they call Aleph 0. The power set is Aleph 1, so that's a bigger infinity. So now there's an Aleph 1 infinity of new conscious agents. But now take their power set. That's Aleph 2. Now take their power set, Aleph 3. So there's no end to the infinities of conscious agents. And so ultimately, it is a theorem that there is just one conscious agent. But it's also a theorem that there's no mathematical description of it, because you can never get through, this is called Cantor's hierarchy of infinities, Aleph 0, Aleph 1. So we can...
One conscious agent he's talking about is Source, the infinite, Yahweh, Elohim, God, basically Source, the one and all in all, that the Elohim God is all in all, that he has all these different conscious agents, devas, which are shining ones. These are consciousness infused within matter, and they make up reality. But more particularly, it describes that these conscious agents are actually the true reality, or the archons, if you will, behind physical matter. That physical matter as we know it, he likens it to app icons, like icons on a computer. We understand that when you click on an app icon, that's causing you to enter into a whole entire world, a application. So within every app icon, you're able to enter into the reality of that app. Now, the app is only the interface, if you will. The app is not the real thing, but What's the real thing is what is inside the app. And what he's saying is here is that these conscious agents, the reality behind what we know of as matter, is actually propped up, supported by these conscious agents behind the matter, behind the app. That if you want to change physical reality, you need to interact with the conscious agents, the consciousness behind the physical matter. So the real thing is not really the physical matter, but the consciousness behind it. The consciousness behind it is what's causing that projection of what the real thing is into physical matter. As, say, if you were to stick your finger into maybe a water, say if there's some fish within the water. The fish, you only see a tip of your finger, and I understand that there is an entire human being behind that finger, that tip of that finger. So we're only seeing, and as he describes that he theorizes that we actually only interact with less than 1% of all of reality, that we're not seeing all of reality at all, not even 1%. So in order for us to change physical matter, instead of from a bottom-up approach, from interacting with physical matter, we should start from a top-down approach or inward approach. Then if you change the consciousness, or you interact with the consciousness, conscious agents, or the Devas or the Cherubs that create and sustain the matter before your eyes, and the reality, the construct before your eyes, they are sustainers of these constructs. If you interact and change the conscious agents and tune to the frequencies of those conscious agents, those Devas, those Cherubs, then you are able to effectively change the physical matter before you. The real matter, the real reality is not physical matter before our eyes. It is the conscious agents, the Devas, the Cherubs that make up that physical reality. They are the true reality, and physical matter is actually just a projection of what that true reality represents. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.